celebrating our 60th anniversary. That's right, 60 years of glitz, glamour, and our own great white shark. As we celebrate our diamond anniversary today, we pay tribute to Universal's past and take you behind the scenes to discover why this studio tour is world famous. So whether this is your first visit or your 60th, get ready for fun, excitement, and an experience like no other.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. A well-known Hollywood art director. He was known for working on movies like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. He was known for his fantastical designs. Now we are heading out of the theme park and into our front lot. Our front lot is where most of our sound stages are. So a sound stage is basically, you can see out your right and left side, these buildings that look like big warehouses. They are soundproof buildings that create completely controllable environments for us to film in. About 80 to 90% of all filmmaking throughout Hollywood happens inside of sound stages just like these. For example, right out your left-hand side, your left-hand side is going to be sound stages 7 and 8. Those are currently home to a TV show called Bel Air. It's on our Peacock streaming service. It's a dramatic reimagining of the 1990s sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. It stars Jabari Banks and Ollie Charlton. They film most of that show right inside of those sound stages. These sound stages are big enough to have a set as large as a 2-story house inside of them. And we can film any time of day, any time of year. Speaking of Bel Air, here are the stars Jabari Banks and Ollie Charlton to tell you more about our front lot sound stages.
Or what? You see the studio tour.
That's right, you never know what you're going to see out here. Speaking of, right out on your right-hand side, our sound stages 16 and 17. These are currently home to another Peacock original show called Based on a True Story. It's a comedy thriller show. It stars Kaylee Cuoco and Chris Messina. They are filming inside of Soundstage 17 today, actually. And just past Soundstages 16 and 17 are, of course, 18 and 19. In Soundstage 19, that was recently home to the Oval Office sets from our most recent Best Picture winning film, Oppenheimer. If you watched Oppenheimer, right inside, your right side, that's Soundstage 19, is where the Oval Office sets were constructed and where they filmed those scenes. We're super excited about that movie. Like I said, it won the Oscar for Best Picture last year. Another film we're super excited about is the 2-part film adaptation of the Broadway musical Wicked. That is coming to theaters, part 1, is coming to theaters this holiday season. It's being brought to you by Mark Platt Productions. And Mark Platt has his offices just out to your left in these production bungalows. Another one who has his production offices here is Chris Meledandri. He is the CEO and founder of Illumination Entertainment, bringing you films like Despicable Me and Sing and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. All right, sorry to cut you off, Dolly. Alrighty, so we are now in the back lot. This is where most of our large-scale exterior sets are. As you can see out your right-hand side, that emergency room and St. Denis Medical Center sign is currently being used for a new NBC medical comedy called St. Denis Medical, coming to NBC soon. But this road that we are sitting on right now is actually right where Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly took the time machine 88 miles an hour to take us back to the future. Here is Miss Leah Thompson, one of the stars of Back to the Future, and writer and producer Bob Gale, to take us back to Hill Valley.
Courthouse Square. These sets were used to create Hill Valley in the Back to the Future films.
They represent multiple time periods, 1985, 1955, and the far, far distant future, 2015. To this day, this is one of the most popular sets on the Universal Studio Tour.
They had a lot of fun making.
Oh, would you look at that? There's Doc Brown and the time machine.
Welcome to Hill Valley! You made it! There's the time machine! How are you? What are we telling? Let's do a temporal experiment right now and send all of you into the future! Way over there! Around the corner!
Sounds good, Doc. We shouldn't disturb the space-time continuum for too long.
I need fuel. Bring me plutonium.
Alright, so we are now heading through our metropolitan sets. These sets look like, as you can see, city streets. We can turn these streets into any city, any time period that we want. You may recognize some of these sets from your favorite NBC TV shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, How I Met Your Mother, the show Scrubs, movies like Transformers, Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, The Amazing Spider-Man, Captain America, the First Avenger used some of our sets. Now, why would we film here instead of out in a real city? Well, it's much easier, first of all, to get filming permits to film on our very own lot. But when you're filming movies like Fast and Furious, for example, oh, we got the hat, a hero, let's hear it. Round of applause, fantastic. For example, if you're filming a movie like Fast and Furious, there's have lots of car chases, right? So Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw was set in London. So they filmed much of the movie in London, but when they had to do some of those fast car chase sequences, they came and they filmed those here on the lot. Because it helps us not disturb the actual busy streets of London. Now from the concrete jungle, we are heading into the real jungle. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to Skull Island.
Creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back this time. It's a great we have created this 3D experience. Come on, you. Just in your hand.
For their incredible visual effects work. You may have noticed that one of the tram cars got pulled off by one of the dinosaurs. Everybody that's on that tram in the animation are actually family members of the animators who helped create King Kong 360 3D. I think that's so fun that they threw that in there. Alright, we are now heading down another one of our metropolitan set streets. We call this street London Square or Royal Crescent because it has a little bit more of a European feel to it. Now you'll see, if you look out your right-hand side, this big long wall, it looks like a city block of maybe apartment buildings. as you can see, now that we're up close to it, it's actually just a bunch of painted doors and windows. You can't really walk through them, and if you do, you can see right through to the other side. It's just a wall. This is what we call a facade, so it's just the outside of the building. In fact, most of our Metropolitan sets are just facades. It's just the fronts and the sides of the building. And so if a character is walking down the street and walks inside, it's probably going to cut to a scene that was filmed inside of a soundstage for the interior. Now, just past our Metropolitan sets, we are coming up on our monster mural. It's going to be out your right-hand side.
Thou shalt rise again.
This incredible mural was painted by an artist named Tristan Eaton using hundreds of cans of spray paint. He did it all by hand, or by can, I guess you would say. And it pays homage to our classic Universal monsters. Universal Studios is known as the home of the monster movie because of our classic monster hits like Dracula, Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Son of Frankenstein, everyone Frankenstein's ever met. The Wolfman, the Invisible Man, and the Creature from the Black Lagoon, which actually filmed outside to your left in our Hollywood ocean. Now you're thinking, Caroline, that is not big enough to be an ocean. Well, our visual effects teams are able to make it look like any body of water that we want to. If you look on your screens, you can see how we turned it into the Amazon River for the Creature from the Black Lagoon 70 years ago in 1954. So we are now heading into a part of the lot that we call 6 Points. If you're a fan of Quentin Tarantino, you might recognize some of these sets from his ninth film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Most of our 6 Point sets are facades, so they're just the outside of the building. The only one that is what we call a practical set, which means it's fully constructed on the interior and the exterior for filming, is going to be out your right-hand side, this opera house. This is where, in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, this front porch is where Leonardo DiCaprio and Julia Butters, little 10-year-old Julia Butters, shared a scene. And then inside, he had a little bit of a brawl with Timothy Oliphant in that film. Here's a couple other Western stars that have been on these sets throughout the years.
If you're just going to stir things up here, then I am.
How dare you hit that man?
Mine hit the ground first.
Alright, so I'm going to pause it right here. You see these two cowboys on screen? In the yellow, that's Kirk Douglas, and in the red, that's John Wayne. Now, one of these men is only 5'8", and the other one is 6'4". But they look the same height. I'm going to let you guess which one is taller.
Mine was taller.
So clearly, John Wayne, he's 6'4". He just walked away, and Kirk Douglas is only 5'8". He is standing on what we call an apple box. It's literally a wooden box you could probably hold apples in. And it makes them look the same height. If he tried to leave the scene, he would drop about 6 inches. So he has to stay there until they call cut. So now I'm going to get a little look at some of the back sides of these Western sets. We call that area 6 Points because in the earlier days of the Universal lot, back in the 10s and 20s, they were filming Westerns for the most part, and they call it 6 Points because it used to be consisted of 6 different Western streets, and they could film 6 different Western movies all at the same time because it was the silent film era, so it didn't matter if they overheard each other during production. So we were able to crank out as many as 200 Westerns in 1 year. That is ridiculous. We would never be able to do something like that now because of sound and technology. Back in those days, our founder, Carl Laemmle, who founded Universal Studios, used to invite the public in to come watch those silent films being made. They used to be able to stand in like grandstands or stadium seating around these sets. They could cheer on the heroes, they could boo the villains. That would be cool if they brought that back. But we can't, unfortunately, because of sound. It would cause too much ruckus, it would sound crazy. Everyone wave hi to our Tram friends on this side, or just stare at them awkwardly. Hey, everyone.
This is how we used to have to do it, kids. Anybody looking?
Has anyone seen The Good Place? You might recognize this a little more closely as The Afterlife.
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I've never ever seen this.
You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going.
You see this yogurt shop on your screen? Well, we're passing it right now. You'll see it on your left-hand side. And just past that, you'll be seeing the railway station that they used in the film, in the show, The Good Place.
The bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
So as you can see, this area was used as the afterlife in the NBC hit show, The Good Place. But as I mentioned earlier, we call this area Little Europe because it looks like it could be a European city. It's been a number of European cities throughout the years for a number of our Universal films. Our very first Best Picture winning film, Oscar Best Picture winning film, was called All Quiet on the Western Front in the 1930s. Our Little Europe sets were the streets of Berlin. But they've also been seen as the streets of Paris in the Pink Panther with Steve Martin. They've been the streets of Rome in Angels and Demons with Tom Hanks. But it doesn't have to be Europe. It could be, those streets were Genovia in The Princess Diaries 2, A Royal Engagement with Anne Hathaway and Julie Andrews. There's also Cinderella's Kingdom in Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella with Brandy and, of course, Miss Whitney Houston.
All the time, nothing to worry about. Hold on,
Those being the mechanical shark in Jaws. We are headed currently back to Amity Island. Amity Island is a small New England town. At one point was plagued with a pretty bad great white shark problem. But Mayor Vaughn has told me to tell you that they handled that. There's no more shark issues, so we're just gonna get to have a lovely little drive through and take a look. Oh. Well, I'm not quite sure they actually handled that shark issue. Okay, well, my friend George, he's out there in the water right now. He would not be out there if there was any issues, so it's probably fine. Sure. Oh, George. Hey, George. Hey, buddy, you okay? Oh. Well, that doesn't look good. Okay, well, we're just gonna move forward a little bit. Let's hide behind this dock over here. There's a little yellow barrel of shark bait out in the water, so that should keep them at bay for a bit. Oh my, and the dock's on fire. I don't know, you guys. I think we're gonna need a bigger tram. There you go, a guaranteed celebrity sighting on the tour, folks. That is our very own animatronic shark named Bruce. He's been with us a couple decades now. Of course, the shark in the movie Jaws is named Jaws, but the director Steven Spielberg nicknamed the shark Bruce after his own attorney because he said, what is scarier than a man-eating shark? A Hollywood attorney. Now, Jaws did not actually film here on the lot. It filmed what we call on location, so out in the real world, at Martha's Vineyard in the summer of 1974. And on the very first day of filming, the shark sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. It was only ever tested in freshwater, their mechanical shark. And obviously the ocean is saltwater, and it sunk right to the bottom, so they had to build a new one. It did delay filming for quite a bit. But now I'm going to hand it over to co-host of the Today Show and America's favorite weather anchor, Mr. Al Roker.
Time for my favorite part of the tour, weather. When it comes to film and TV, it is truly a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the studio tour way back in 1968. Welcome to the only part of the backlot with a 100% chance of rain. The flash flood.
So here in sunny California, we don't really get a lot of rain, but that's no problem for us here at Universal. We can just make our own with very high-tech movie-making equipment called sprinklers on really big poles. The thunder that you're hearing is coming from speakers hidden in the buildings around you. And the lightning is from strobe lights right on top of those. And oh my, it looks like we left those sprinklers on a bit too long. You might recognize our flash flood sequence from the film Big Fat Liar, starring Paul Giamatti and Amanda Bynes.
You can't outrun the wolf, kid! Yeah, we'll see about that.
With the first and second floor, it's got a kitchen, bathrooms, bedrooms, and so we can film inside and outside of it. But as you can see right behind it, that's another example of a facade. It's a great side-by-side example of those two types of sets. And just past our residential street, Colonial Street, it's also a Wisteria Lane, if you're a fan of Desperate Housewives, up and down that street behind you. Out your left-hand side are official scale replicas of the Lion Estate signs from Back to the Future. Lion Estates is where Marty McFly lived in Back to the Future, living the home of tomorrow today. And those were gifted to the studio to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Back to the Future films. One of the executive producers on Back to the Future was Mr. Steven Spielberg. We have a very long and wonderful history working with Mr. Steven Spielberg. We are actually on Steven Spielberg Drive right now. I'm going to let him tell you about some of his earliest memories here on our studio lot.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days there weren't trams, there were buses called the Grand Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. It was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom. And when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the entire lot to myself that day. And in those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world on locations, but most of it was focused in those days in the 60s on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was running around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt in my own young way, I owned the lot and had the most amazing day of my life.
Now, it is very fitting that at the end of Steven Spielberg Drive, we have the large-scale practical sets of one of his films, War of the Worlds. It's a 2005 Paramount film.
The airplane is perfect example of a set that is all designed around the vision of the speaker.
He said, yeah, to sit down and talk about the world. I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in the big movie? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep pressing me. Listen, as you close your eyes, okay? Stay closed. Bobby, get in. Get in.
But just past that incredible set is one of Hollywood's most iconic still standing sets. Out your right side, that is the Psycho House from Psycho 1 and 2. It's where Norman Bates and his mother lived. You might see her in the second story window. Give her a wave. She's a sweet lady. And coming up on your right-hand side is our official scale replica of the Hollywood sign. The Hollywood sign is celebrating its own anniversary, 100 years. Its centennial anniversary this year. And you can get your very own picture with it here at our Step Onto the Lot experience. So if you would like to, you can get off of the tram and go walk around and take some photos with some props and set pieces from your favorite Universal movies and TV shows. Props, set pieces, cars from Fast and Furious. You take a picture with Jaws.
Just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Share. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? But a little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy, Gold Rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. Welcome to the world of no.
Oh, it's creepy in here, you guys. Dare I say, I think it might be time for us to get out. Alrighty, folks, we are now headed toward a part of the studio where, in the earlier days of the studio tour, we used to have an attraction called the Doomed Glacier Expedition. It was better known as the Ice Tunnel. Fast and Furious. As we're headed on in here, folks, just another reminder to please stay seated at all times. Keep those arms and legs tucked right inside of the tram. Hold on tight to those belongings, because I think things are about to speed up.
Hey, yo! We just got here. Alright, I got it. Listen, hello, beautiful people. Simply you listen to the world. Good? My name is Roman Pierce. Pleased to meet you. Buddy Hobbs asked us to stash you sharp for a while. So we brought you in our secret spot. We're having a few friends over. It's a little messy. It's all good. We're more than that. Especially you right there in that third row. So look, see over there? It's called Urban Assault Vehicle. Best truck the U.S. government can buy. That work of art back over there is made by my man Ted. Think of it as like a Mona Lisa on wheels. So what you think you can do? What's that?
I have one job to do. Alright, look guys, we're gonna keep sharp and finding you. And to keep you safe, we need your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us. So put away your cameras and turn off your cell phones. One flash or one ringtone will give us a
I need y'all to take this real serious.
Okay, pull into the next bay and we'll meet you in there.
So I'm gonna say the third row, right? Is it
This is what we're doing. This is the race day after party. And the, what else?
Roman Pierce, FBI, don't move.
Ben?
That's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not...
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, let's back up a little bit. Okay. It's like that. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Nah, I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours. Escort this out, this out. Let's go, Cookie Puss!
That ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family protects you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone calls?
I gotta call you back. I don't even know this.
See what I'm talking about?
Call you back. It was on vibrate.
Shaw traced us. Ops can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Driver, move that vehicle.
It's about to get real interesting. My Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door.
Roman, grab your truck. I need you and Becky ready to roll.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am receiving a transmission from Hobbs right now. He told me he wants everyone to put on their 3D glasses so everyone on board the tram is disguised and they can't find the witness. We're supposed to meet him on the first level of the Jurassic parking garage and wait for Dominic Toretto to come get us out of here.
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now or you all get fried!
This is our turn.
After them!
Okay, guys, it's showtime. Come to the left. This thing ain't going fast enough. Roman, Lenny, hook him up.
I got the bull by the horn!
Now we're moving.
Dad, look out! You can be the witness to another one calling a day! I've got company! The witness is mine, Lenny!
How about you eat asphalt?
Don't think you're getting away! Find the cause!
Way to go, Lenny.
Don't climb up the missile shot!
Not gonna happen. Don't worry, I got this.
Roman, don't shoot! Head for the bridge! Under construction! Everybody hold on!
Hit the nitrous.
We're not gonna make it!
Try to die.
Give it up for Fast and Furious Supercharged! And you all thought our trams could only go 8 miles an hour. Alrighty folks, we have reached the end of the studio tour and we are headed on back to the theme park. I'm going to let Mr. Jimmy Fallon close us on out.
Over the past 6 decades, the studio tour has taken guests on an amazing behind-the-scenes look at a movie studio in a way that only Universal can. Hopefully you had a great time today, and on behalf of everyone at NBC Universal, thank you for joining us to celebrate our diamond anniversary. Here's to another 60 years.
Thank you guys for celebrating 60 years of the studio tour with us today. Our 60th anniversary is really special to us because the studio tour is where everything began for Universal parks and destinations and experiences. From just 2 Glamor trams traveling around the studio lot in the summer of 1964, we have developed into so much more, including 7 parks entertaining millions of guests every year, and the upcoming Universal Epic Universe opening in Universal Orlando in 2025. I also want to acknowledge all of our studio tour ambassadors, all of our drivers. Our driver today, Eris. Let's get a round of applause for Eris. Oh, yeah. And all of our studio guys throughout history who have helped make the studio tour world famous. A special thank you to our annual pass members. If you're not an annual pass member, what are you doing? Head on over to the Universal box office and figure out how you can upgrade today. As we're pulling up to the unload area, please stay seated till the studio tour ambassadors can come open those gates on the left for you. Those blue bins are where you can put your 3D glasses. No need to hold on to those. Make sure you grab all your belongings, as well as any trash. Don't leave any trash. That's not cool.